What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Accelerate to Great. Today, I am bringing you one of the most dynamic, one of the most amazing entrepreneurs that I personally know. This guy goes by the name of Jubril. I had the opportunity to meet him from afar. I was literally used to watch his passport heavy videos like, hey, I'm going to this country. I need to go check out. Someone said, yo, you got to go check out this dude's page. So I went to go check it out. And then every country I started to go to, I'm like, yo, I gotta go check it out. I gotta see if there's some sort of video sharing how to live that life while you're going to this particular country. Fast forward, I ended up going to Bali, had the opportunity to meet this guy. When I say one of the most incredible, amazing guys that I know, not only that, he's an incredible businessman. I was just sitting there listening to, his mindset is just so far ahead. So I'm like, man, you guys know it. I always like to interview and get insight from some of the greatest minds in the world. So not only has this guy been traveling around the world the last 5, 6, 7 years doing what he loves, he's making a full-time major income, literally doing what he loves. And this is something that most people want to do. So I'm like, I got to have Jubril online simply because I want him to share his story and just kind of share some tips with how you guys can also level up and get you where you got to go. So without further ado, I want to introduce my friend, I'm calling my friend, so an all around amazing game changer. Jubril, welcome to the chat, my friend. How you doing?
Oh man, what an amazing introduction. Got the voice feeling good.
Hey man, it's the truth, bro. It's the truth, man. I still talk about when we was just in Bali, bro, when you invited me over to the pad. Something I don't take lightly, bro. I had a phenomenal time, and thanks for the dinner and just the hospitality, bro. It was incredible.
Nah, man. I love to connect with like minds, so especially overseas. Especially like with my brothers and sisters overseas, it's special. So I'm like, it's one of the reasons that I make my travel documentaries. And I like to show people how accessible some things are, because a lot of people think, you got to have a Jay-Z or you got to have a Meek Mill budget or like, and so for me, ain't got no diamonds on my wrist. Now, I don't even own a car. So I live a completely different lifestyle. And I live it the way I want to live it. And so one of the most important things for me is travel gives you a different perspective on the world. And it makes you more understanding of other people too, and why people do the things that they do. And so when I was going to different places, like let's just say Medellin, Colombia, when I first went there, I was real nervous. I was real hesitant because, all I would hear about is Pablo, and I'd be hearing rappers, man, I got the plug that, out of Medellin. And I was like, yeah, they ain't even really been to Medellin. Now, and so when I got there, I was real nervous. Even like, swear to God, first time I got in the taxi, and then I thought dude was taking so long, and I was like, oh, man, I'm about to get kidnapped. And then but no, it took me to my destination like a normal taxi driver would do. And I had the time of my life, and, Wall Street Journal, I think in 2010, named Medellin one of the most innovative cities in the world. And it's so developed. They have, all like the modern things. They have fast internet. They have beautiful apartments. They have beautiful scenery. And, they have a different culture though, but it's beautiful and it's safe. Obviously you don't want to go to some, just like here, like I'm in Chicago right now. You come through some of the wrong areas here in Chicago, you just don't want to go there. And it's the same thing for Medellin. And so I wanted to do that. And now I've influenced like legitly thousands of people to go to Medellin, Colombia. When I'm in Colombia, I literally run into at least like 15 to 20 people a day will come up to me and say, hey, oh bro, what's up, man? Passport heavy, you the reason why I'm here, And so it's fulfilling to see my people. And they're like, and the prices, the biggest thing that I like to sharing the videos is the price that it costs to go to some of these places. So when you go to a place like Medellin, Colombia, when you go to a place like Miami and you want to do Miami right, or you want to do Vegas right, the cost is big boy money. Like you could spend 10, 20,000, in a week to do Miami right. And you could go to Medellin, have that same experience, if not better, be more cultured, and do the same thing for like a tenth of the price, where you're not putting it on credit cards, you're not stretching yourself to, to have an experience. And so that's one of the reasons I wanted to make it, make these videos around the world.
And the videos are fire. So Jubril, a little bit, I got kicked out of high school, college, fired from 10 jobs, all of that, been through like the whatever. But one of my favorite quotes is, once your mind is expanded to a new concept or idea, it's hard to go back to its original way of thinking. And my first moment of exposure was my mom sent me to a school where it was only like 30 minorities, African Americans, and they actually showed me like, oh, you can own a mansion, like you could just live in a different life. And the second time I was exposed is when I worked at the private airport, which was my last job 11 years ago. And I got the opportunity to get on jets and got the opportunity to see billionaires come off their planes. Been on the owner of the Cowboys plane, Donald Trump plane, Jay-Z when he came on the plane, just so many different people. But that literally stretched my mind to actually believe like, man, I can literally become any and everything that I want. But what I wanted to know from you, I know you just said you got exposed when you went to Medellin, but was there a moment, did someone tell you like, yo, this is the way? Because I look at you and I look at you like you're so ahead of the game. And I feel like, was it a mentor or was you just always like on it? Like, man, you were always different. Like me, I had to get exposed. I had to actually see like, wow, it's actually more than West Philly. It's more than the ghetto. It's more than drug dealing. It's more. So what was that moment for you? And I don't know if there was someone who played a role in your life or just a moment that you was like, got it.
Ah, man, great question. Great question. I've had a couple moments. So for me, I've been like a little hustler since I was young. And so I started, I was a kid in, junior high, or I was a kid in elementary, going to Walgreens, or you might have CVS. I don't know. I've never been to Philly. I need to change that. Little, like pharmacy type store, buy the Warheads candies for like $2, come back, and then sell them at school for like sell them at 25 cents a piece, triple my money. And so like, because my allowance was $3 a week. And I mean, I didn't grow up in the 60s, right? But my mom only make, $20,000 a year. And then, as a single mom, that's, it's not much money to go around. And my brother, since he was younger, he got $2 a week. And so I was like, man, I want McDonald's. I want cards. I want to be able to go do a few things. And $3 wasn't cutting it. So, but the thing is, when I was in elementary, we moved from Chicago to the suburbs. And then there was kids that, and so like for us, we were getting free lunch because like if you hit a certain income level, you didn't have to pay for lunch. I get like tickets. But then all these other kids would like, their parents would give them like $10 a day for lunch. And I was like, ooh, I need that. I need that. And so I started to find out what were their needs, what did they want that they didn't have easy access to. So like at school, they didn't sell Warheads. So I said, let me make it easy and convenient. So I come, I'm selling Warheads at school. There's these things called like little Pokemon things, and there's only in like this one shop. And so I go buy them for $3 and sell them to the kids for like $10. And so these are things I started doing in elementary school. And then I graduated junior high, got my first computer. And then that's when I started to graduate to selling CDs. So I it wasn't legal. Now, selling CDs, download stuff from Napster. So my kids back in the day, that's like go Google Napster for my youngins that don't know what Napster, like a later generation was like LimeWire. And then, so from there, that was great. And the way I customized the experience is I'd tell them to give me what songs that they wanted. And then at the beginning, I'd have a microphone and I'd be like, yo, what up? This is a CD for my dog, Jose. And then I'd be like, yo, this is for Marquise. And then I'd have an outro saying, yo, man, this DJ Jubril's on the mic, man. I hope you enjoyed your CD. Man, make sure you tell all your friends about it. And then so I'd have the whole school on lock. And then also, it's crazy. There's this website even called like MIRC, more legal stuff. But I used to download video games. I used to have this system back in the day called Sega Dreamcast. And so I could literally make the games just like an official. You put it in, no mod chip. And I was selling those for $15 a piece when, the stores were selling them for $15. And then, so that was just like how I got started. And then I graduated to the internet when I was like 14, and I started selling on eBay, where I became a power seller. And it was a natural, progression for me. So that was kind of how I got started in the game. I started to see real money in my teenage years. So, I mean, I'm talking tens of thousands of dollars a month, like in my teenage years. And so it changed my mindset with what was possible. But what changed my mindset that was really more out there, it was a mentor. So when I was 17, I got involved in like direct sales. And you know, he was living in like this house in Arizona, like 1.2 million. And I had an opportunity when I was 17. I flew out there, you know, just bought my ticket. Didn't even tell my mom. I got in trouble when I came back. No, you know, just went from Chicago, bought the ticket. But I walked in the house, and I've never seen houses like this before. And I was like, and I've known him, you know, I've been talking to him on the phone, and I was like, and the more that I spent time with him, I was like, I used to put him on such a huge pedestal. Like, he had some godlike power. And the biggest thing that changed everything for me was just being around and be like, yo, you're not that much different than me. Maybe a little bit more knowledge, maybe a little bit more experience. But that's what, because from where I'm from, you know, a nice car was like a Honda Civic. It was like, oh my God, they got a new car that don't break down, like when I was growing up. And so for him, you know, we had a few cars, the house, and I was like, man, I wasn't saying that out loud, but I was taking it in like, yo, this is different. Like, this is crazy. Like, look, full fridge. And and he taught me a lot about the game, a lot about sales, a lot about influence. And that's when I started to also, because before that I never read books, but he was the one who introduced me to, you know, personal development. Like, he introduced me to the movie The Secret, Think and Grow Rich. I started reading book after book after book. I started investing in my knowledge. Like, even that year when I was, I was 18, I spent like $30,000 that year on personal education. Now, to improve myself, and I've been like addicted to wanting to be around people, and you know, it's paid off. Now it's like, I used to see people in magazines, bro, and be like, that seems so like crazy. Someone in a magazine, like, that's crazy. That's like them other people. And now it's like, yo, me, like, our peoples are in magazines every day. Like, my business partner was just on TV today. So one of my business partners is Tiffany the Budgetnista. She was on The Real today, like literally just watching it like an hour ago. And it's like, my other friend Cynthia, she got this movie coming out in about a week. My other friend Yvonne on Insecure. And it's like, the circles have changed. But I guess I wouldn't say I've leveled up, but I still check out with the same friends that I have. I know a long and winded question, but I think it's about the experience of being around the other people that just make you say, damn, man, that ain't much different than me. Like, they just put in some work for a while and, you know, making things happen. And that, I just like, it seemed more realistic when I got to actually be around the people, because when they was on like the other side of the screen or the other side of the call, they seemed godlike to me. But when I got around them, started spending time, they were real human to me.
And that's crazy. That's fire. And that really just says, you said two things. Number one, you said a mentor, right? How crucial and important the mentorship is everything. Then you said getting around like-minded people. Jubril, I would really be sitting here like trying to tell people like, yo, the key to success right now in 2018, 2019, find yourself a mentor, even if it costs you, and then get around people who are doing better than you, because it's going to force you to level up. If anybody hang around you for a month, 2 months, their income is going to rise. Just so many things are going to change because you're infectious. So the thing is, I continue to tell people like, yo, you got to do this. But for some people, it's like people don't. I'm trying to say, yo, this is the key. But I think a lot of times we think it's some magical formula that people are looking for, when sometimes it's just, yo, getting around the right people, finding yourself a mentor, and executing every single day. You talked about books. What are 3 of your favorite books right now pertaining to marketing? Or life. It don't even just pair. What are your 3? If you're talking to somebody like, yo, you need to read these 3, what would it be?
Man, books. So recently, like, to be 100, I haven't read that many books in the last like 2 years or so. But marketing books. I read Frank Kern's, what's that yellow book? He had this yellow book. I even forgot the name of the book. I don't read as many books when it comes to marketing. I like to experiment, and I like to go to masterminds these days, more so than read books. Or I'll do a course, or I'll hop on podcasts. So I guess maybe I can tell you, switch it up. I tell you some of my favorite podcasts right now is How I Built It, by Guy Raz. Yeah. And so that is one of my favorite, because you get inside into people that have built some of the most amazing companies in the world today for free. And it don't cost you nothing. There's so much amazing knowledge available for free today. is mind blowing. And also, I still hop on YouTube from time to time to keep myself sharp. And I like this guy named Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn is like one of my favorite guys of all time. I mean, you got new people like what's his name? E.T., the hip hop preacher. So some of his videos, I've literally, there was this one where he was in like I think he was in Clemson, and then he's like, you know, he basically is talking about breaking the site. He's like, you know, I was riding around 8 Mile, Detroit in the thing, and he was like, basically he's like, I'm the new, I forgot the name of the video, but I've watched it 100 times. And so people like that, man, it's impossible for them. And, you know, back in the day, I used to watch Will Smith and stuff all the time. But the books I named before, I like Think and Grow Rich, which is really elevated my mind. How to Win Friends and Influence People by
Dale Carnegie.
And then when it comes to money, The Richest Man in Babylon by George S. Clayson. The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho is another, that's not marketing. And then here's a crazy thing. I'll tell you one of my biggest marketing tips, because I feel like, well, I am one of, people say I'm one of the greatest storytellers when it comes to marketing. And so I take a lot of my stuff from rap. Like, so when it comes to people like J. Cole, I think about why they connect with their audience so tightly, why their audience is so connected to them. It's because they keep it 100 with the audience, and the stories that they play out, it's a connecting factor. So I mean, when I be doing stuff for Tiffany, when I be doing stuff for myself, like I'm thinking about how can I relate to my audience, you know, in a way. And so I learn a lot through music. And so people are like, oh, yeah, literally, I listen to Drake. Like a lot of my copy comes from rap. So it's crazy.
Wow, that's crazy. So one of the questions I have for you right now, as we 2019 is here, basically, what needs to be in the marketer's tool belt? Like right now, if you only could rely on 3 things right now to grow your business, what would they be? I would assume copy is going to definitely be one of them.
So repeat that. You said like 3 platforms or no?
So you don't have it, like you're just getting started, right? Yo, I'm trying to get to where you are, Jubril. I want to make hundreds of K a month. I want to make millions a month, Jubril. What tool should I be focusing on? What should I be sharpening? Should it be sales? Should it be copywriting? Should it be Facebook ads? If you only could work on 3 tools that you would sharpen, because you can't get good at everything. Yeah. Some people can, but some people don't have the ability to be good at everything. So what would you tell a person to focus on?
Man, I'd have to sit down with a lot of people, because it also depends on your talent. And so for some people, they're more animated, and I'm like, and you know, they might be more aesthetically pleasing, or that they really like the visual kind of place. And I'm like, Instagram might be an excellent place for you, right? Because it's changed from a play around platform. People used to down a lot of people that were on Instagram. They'd be like, oh, you just taking pictures, this, that, go get a real job. And so if you've seen any of my videos, you've definitely seen Renee with me, owned by Fam. And so before, people were like, yo, go get a real job, this and that. But now, I mean, I won't put her specific numbers out, but it's gone from, now brands are really invested in social media. Well, actually, maybe she'll be mad, maybe she won't. But I'll tell you this, like some campaigns getting like $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 for a single Instagram post. For a single Instagram post. And some of these campaigns, they paying her upwards of 40, you know, for, you know, a set of like 8 photos on Insta. And so you can't now tell me the thing that you used to make fun of, you'd be like, yo, how much are you making at your job? You got to put some respect on it now, because put some respect on my name. Like it's a different animal. So that's why I tell people, maybe you want to be an influencer. It's a real career now, because at the end of the day, people have to understand what is influencer. So influencing is you're an advertising mechanism now for brands, and or your own brand. And so if you know Cosmopolitan magazine, like the beauty magazine.
Yeah.
So a full page color advertisement, one page in there is about $340,000, right? For one page, and and so when they're talking about, hey, this influencer has this type of reach, let's pay them $8,000 for this. Let's pay, and then so for all these specific niches, you can go in these different types of ways. And so when you start to understand and think like that, and understand these numbers, you're like, it does make sense for them to pay, these kind of numbers, especially if you have the engagement and you can have the returns. So, but I'm saying if you're going to build your Instagram, build it like a business, take it serious and understand there's power in it. And now maybe you want to be more behind the scenes, right? So I'm like in front of the scene, in front of the camera, but I'm also behind the scenes. So I'll talk about one of my other business partners, Tiffany the Budgetnista. So nobody really knows that I exist with that brand. Maybe if you go to her Instagram page, she gives me a few shout outs and whatnot. But the people that are seeing the company as a whole, I'm the one, doing Facebook ads. So like you were saying, yeah, if you want to go more that way, more behind the camera, invest in copy, learn how to communicate with people through words. Or maybe it's the video helping people write scripts. And then, then there's so many different things within the system. So we have 20 employees with our company, the Budgetnista. And so we have everyone that are content managers, right? That help, or then there's other people who help manage groups. There's other people who just really understand. There's this, for you guys that don't understand, when you're sending emails and stuff back and forth to people, they use like these email, they're called CRM systems, and we use something called Infusionsoft. So we literally have one person, we have like 700,000 people on our email list, right? And so we need someone to manage that, set up campaigns. And so maybe you want to learn more technical stuff. So I tell people kind of where your talent lies, kind of go more towards there so you can enjoy it and you can actually excel in, so it's knowing yourself, right? So there's some people, they're like, nah, I want to be a rapper, or I want to be a singer. They ain't got no business being in front of the camera. They ain't got no business singing. And I'm like, I hate to tell you, but you're wasting your time because that's not God's gift to you. And so that's kind of why I said I have to kind of see where people are. But I'm telling you, influencing is a big thing right now. And it's changing. And a lot of these older companies, they don't understand it. There's a lot of money in there. And then also just understanding the technical stuff. Maybe you want to be more technical. So, but yeah, copywriting, learning how to create content, man, is one of the waves of the future. Content creation it's influence, right? So you have influence, and what do you need to sell? Products and services? Influence. So however you want to learn how to, get your message across with content, I would say that. That's
good. And that just ties into building your personal brand, because as you build your personal brand, there's so many different things you can sell as long as you're tied into it, but it just makes sense. So as you continue to rise, bro, I know, again, as we rise, we face different issues. Some of the things you're facing, someone else isn't, and vice versa. So as you rise, because I'm big on, we know CEO, we know co-founder of Live Richer Academy, we know CEO of Passport Heavy, we know you got so many different irons in the fire. What are some challenges you face as you're growing daily? Because again, I know everything isn't just great. I know it sometimes it's like, dang, when you get to this level, I know I was going to have to face this type of challenge. So as you're rising daily, what are some of the things that you like, dang, I didn't really know when I got here it was going to come with this. So I know what come all the good things that come with it, but what are some things you like, dang, I wish I was better prepared for this? So we can kind of help people avoid some of those challenges if they could.
Great question. And with your permission, I'd also like to talk about, because I talked about my successes, through kind of where I got, but some of my early failures were so monumental. If I had you, I'd like to jump to that and also talk about
absolutely
the challenges.
Please, the failures is key. I love failures because everybody hear the success story. What did you mess up on? Because I don't want to do it.
So when I was young, I had success right out the gates in my head.
When you say young because you young now. So just give is that 14? Because we know you've been an entrepreneur forever. So
yeah. So it's like for my young age, it's like my teenage years, I was successful. Like, I take my family on vacation, I'm buying cars and, doing all that. And so by the time I hit, so I changed, like when I was changing industries from selling products on eBay, I went into the network marketing and direct sales space. And then when I got into the industry, like it was great. Like, and I have a lot of respect for the industry. I learned a lot about it, but it wasn't for me. And after a while, I wasn't really enjoying what I was doing. And so I'm like, man, I can sell people into this thing, but a lot of the people that I'm bringing in, they're not having success. And it was just kind of taking a toll on me personally. And so that's like, not just my personal story. I'm not saying that's everyone else, but then I was like, let me go back to eBay. And so when I tried to go back to eBay when I was like 20 years old, eBay changed. So the way that you could promote, the way you could list your items, everything was different. And so then like, I'm like, man, I can't get these things profitable. These campaigns that I had before, it's not the same. And then, you know, some time goes on and you just, you know, still living that same lifestyle. And now I'm 21. I'm like, damn, I've ran through all my savings. I'm like, man, I'm getting behind on my rent, like all this. And then a few months later, it's like, boom, eviction notice, like all these things. Now I'm back home with mom. And so one thing about mom was like, I mean, I love her. She's always wanted the best for me, but she was like, you need to go to school. If you don't go to school, you're going to waste your life. This is the only way to success. And then so I had to be, I didn't even tell her I was moving back home at first. It was just like, yeah, I'm going to come back, you know, I'm coming back to visit. But then she's like, no, it's been 2 weeks. Why are you still here? And then it's like, yeah, man, I ain't got no money. I can't leave. And so that was a humbling experience, you know, and it's all, but then I had to, and the major thing I learned at that moment was I don't really know advertising at that point. So I was listing my items on eBay, and because it was a newer platform and the way I was doing some featured listing, boom, they was pushing my stuff to the top and there wasn't much competition, so I was winning. And I thought, I was like, I can't be touched. Like everything I post up. And I was very single-minded and like narrow-minded in that. And so I didn't really have the experience back then. I was just a young one thinking I was the shit. And so what happened is, so once I went broke, I realized, I was like, man, I don't actually know how to advertise properly. I just had a good platform. So it'd be like kind of the equivalent of someone being on Amazon and, you know, now if Amazon pulls a plug, are they gonna know how to survive if one of these platforms pulls a plug? And so that is where I see a lot of people making mistakes nowadays is they relying on just one platform. They change their algorithms, they change something, and then your whole world can be shifted upside down because you got so much invested. Like they say with investing, you want to diversify, you know, your investments. And that's so you don't have, you know, you don't have that thing. That's why they want to have multiple streams of income. So you're never really relying on one thing. And that's what I did. But at that point, I said, okay. And so I got my first job, and that was a good thing. So I got a part-time job. It was an online university. And here's another thing too. So when I went to this, I worked at AIU Online University. So the parent company is Career Education, $1 billion company. And so I was learning, you know, about the sales, and I was looking up who is the CEO. Like I think most people just go to work when there's thousands and thousands of employees and just go to work. I was like, man, there's opportunity here. I want to know who's running the show. I want to find out. And then I found out it was a guy named here in Chicago, Gary E. McCullough, and he was one of the top, one of the 10 Black CEOs in America running $1 billion company. And so I said, wow, he's this close to me. And then they'd be sending company emails, and then his email address was in there. I was like, yo, Gary, man, what's up? Like, and then I didn't come with that. I came with value. So I said, how can I come with a value proposition? You know, it's going to make it worth his time. I said, hey, you're an inspiration. I love what you're doing. Is it possible that I would be able to do an interview with you? Because I feel I want to share your story with the world. A lot of people don't know who you are. And I was like, there's a lot of athletes, there's a lot of these kind of people. But I was like, your story is inspirational. He's like, all right, cool, talk to my assistant. It took me like probably a month and a half of going back and forth with his assistant, like schedules, this and that. And then I finally got, we had breakfast, we had pancakes for about an hour and a half, and we still stay in touch to this day. And then like my manager, my boss was like, I was telling her, I was like, yeah, I just forget. Yeah, she's like, how'd you do that? I've never met Gary. I was like, hey. And so, but no, most people have these people around them, but they don't take the initiative to actually make the most of these opportunities that are actually there in their face. And so that was a job route. And then I actually started to learn Google AdWords, right? So I learned Google search. I bought a course from my boy Adam. I'm forever, ever grateful for him. And I really learned how to really scale up my ads through his course in Google content. And then so from there, then I learned YouTube ads. And then, now I'm like one of the top leading experts on Facebook. But it just started from like, I'm glad I failed, because I don't know, if I didn't fail, I'd have been like, there would have been really no reason to look up and be like, and so that let me know, okay, multiple buckets. I have to learn this, because if I don't, I could be stuck in that same situation. And then when things got bad, and the reason I got the job is when I lost the internet, and I'm from Chicago here, man, it was wintertime too. And I lost internet in my house because I was paying the internet in my mom's crib, so there's no internet. So I literally every day, for a while, I was taking my laptop, and then my church was about, the library was about an hour, not an hour, no, probably about half an hour walk. So I'd be literally take my laptop, have my backpack, running through the snow every day, just because they have free internet from the moment that it opened to the moment it closed, just grinding, making this happen. And then so a lot of people be like, man, I ain't doing all that, man. I ain't running through the snow. And I did that day in, day out. And because I knew what I wanted. There wasn't gonna anything that was gonna deny me. And then to kind of, move forward. So, obviously I learned, and now some of the newer struggles that I deal with today is time management and having too many options sometimes. So now I am a wanted commodity when it comes to advertising. So I get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of requests of people. Can you help me with my campaign? I've seen what you've done with this person. I've seen what you've done with this person, but I don't have time, so it's learning how to decline. And then also managing personal life with family time. And then also the community that follows me, because I feel the obligation when people invest time in me, I want to be able to invest back in them. And so like really spreading the time, and then financially, really get your tax game right, get an amazing accountant, because you might look up like, damn, like just when you're an entrepreneur, when you make your money, you grab it. That's not all your money. That's not all your money. You got to pay your taxes. So make sure, your financials are right. Make sure your books are right. Make sure you have all that, or you'll look up, you'll be like, damn, I'm gonna have to chill out for a minute while I catch up on these taxes. And I've had stuff like happen, earlier in my career. So it's like making sure that you have, your foundational stuff, correct with all your numbers, all your paperwork. And then other than that, what other challenges have I really faced now? And then I guess like, just scaling up campaign. When they say more money, more problems, I don't know, life easier with more money. So I've been trying to find this when they're like, yo, man, more money. I'm like, yo, man, I ain't found, maybe in the future people, but I guess it's like the people that you have around you. I had good people around me. And if you have a good, solid foundation, then I think more money is going to make you, like they say, maybe more of the person that you are. And, make life, give you more options, give you more flexibility. Like, I promise you, man, like, I have not found that thing with more money. I'm like, yo, man, I got to get this shit away, man. This problem, man. It ain't happened yet to me. So, man, God forbid.
Hey, bro, you just dropped so much fire in those few minutes, like from building your foundation, right? Just to taking advantage of opportunities. E.T. happened to be actually one of my mentors, and one of his quotes that helped change one of his quotes that I love is, you got to take advantage of an opportunity of a lifetime during a lifetime of the opportunity. So that opportunity of a lifetime was to interview him while you were at that job. But most people are afraid to ask for those things. I interviewed some incredible people. A lot of times they're like, how did this person become your mentor? How did you connect with them? I said, I just asked them. It literally takes, one of my friends told me this years ago, it changed my life. She said, yo, it takes the same amount of effort to go to the person, the highest person, as it does for somebody to come to the person at the lowest level. So she said, yo, it took me the same amount of effort to ask the 76ers for X as it did for me to ask the Overbrook High School, right? So I'm going to claim this on this podcast because I really like saying things and then making it happen. One of my goals, bro, I'm going to have Will Smith speak at one of our next conferences. But he's probably one of the top guys in the world right now. But it's no different effort for me asking him than someone asking me. It ain't. I got to pick up the phone the same way. I got to email the same way. I got to text the same way. So I just want people who are listening, man, if you got something that you want to do, you need to ask. Like a lot of times people aren't achieving their goals and their dreams because you're not asking. You're not seeking out wise counsel. You're not doing the things that is going to take for you to become successful. So you got to put more time and more effort and more work in. Like Jubril said, money, making more money, you never like, yo, I don't want more of it. Oh, it's getting worse. So.
Nah, man, I'm telling you, I can tell you, I'm trying to pull up an email right now because I'm in Chicago. Something else just came up to me. So when I was about to get into real estate, I wanted to be a real estate agent when I was like going through that kind of transformational stage of 2021. It's actually funny. And so I emailed him back here in 2014. I was like, hey, I'm back in town. I'm looking at buying a place now. But I sent him the first email in, look at this. This is March 30th, 2007, right? So this is Mario Greco.
Tap the screen, Jubril, because you can't read it, but you're probably reading it. Yeah, I can see it now.
Yeah. So this is in 2007, right? Mario Greco. I read it to you. So I said, hey, I'm going to become a real estate agent, and I want to know the best way to go about it. I've been looking on Google at some of the top real estate agents here in Chicago, and your name has come up. I know there are different ways to obtain a license. Do you recommend a certain way? Also, what credentials do top firms like you look for? And do you have to be 21 to start the coursework? And what are the top 3 things that have contributed to your success? Any other pointers would be great. And then areas I'd like to work in would be the Gold Coast, Lincoln Park, Edgewater, and all parts of the Chicagoland area. And congratulations on all your success. It's fantastic. And he said, and then he responded the same day. He said, I'll respond in detail tomorrow. Thanks for the kind word. And then he literally wrote me back this nice email. And then here's the thing. I emailed 30 different real estate agents. I emailed 30 different ones. And he was the most successful out of all of them. The other 29 didn't respond. But it was just him that actually responded. And so I think a lot of times, most people, you'll send them 5 emails and be like, none of them are going to respond. But I reached out to the top 30 who have sold the most real estate in Chicago, boom, 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 boom. And then lo and behold, the most successful one out of all of them, responded. And so it's like, I'm telling you, you don't know until you actually ask and reach out to some people.
That's great. And I tell people all the time, yo, you have not because you ask not. Sometimes you let your husband, your wife slip right by because you didn't ask. You letting a business opportunity slip by because you didn't ask. So I'm that guy, bro. I ask. I'm like, yo, the answer. My mom always used to say, yo, son, when you don't ask, the answer going to be no anyway. So I don't assume anything no more. Tell me no. Tell me, I can't help you. No, this isn't a good fit for me. I need to know that. 2 of the key things you said that kind of stuck out to me that I just want you to touch on briefly, we'll get you out of here in a couple minutes, was creating a memorable customer experience. You didn't say those exact words, but that's what it meant. And you said lead first with value. There's so many people who want to work with each other, but it's always in the form of taking, right? You said, hey, let me see how, my business will always add value. And also, guys, you need to check out Add Value too. So, always lead with value, number one, and creating a customer experience. Like one of the things you did, you guys just flew your entire staff out for a weekend in Orlando, right? And you created an amazing experience. It wasn't necessarily a customer experience, but your team members will never forget about something like that, what you guys did. So I really want you to let people know, I preach it all the time, but let people know how important it is of leading first with value and creating that customer experience to make your clients actually love who you are and what you do.
Oh, man. That's like my whole motto when it comes to advertising online. So a lot of advertisements that people see, like, oh, they're annoying, whatever. And so for me, I understand people are human. And so you have to lead with value to let them know. So demonstrate your value to people, offer them solutions to their problem without asking for anything in return, in the beginning. And some people just really, really resonate with it, and they're going to share, and you're going to have a different type of connection with people. And so, I mean, for our ads, literally, so if you're looking to let's say credit, right? Say I want to sign you up for credit repair, or we have some credit course. I'm not going, so a lot of people would just be simple-minded and be like, hey, we have this course for $97 and you can get it right now. Maybe we'll give you 20% off and it's going to teach you how to fix your credit. That's like a simple, basic kind of way to approach things. So the way I'd approach it would be like, I pop up in the timeline, or just I'm Tiffany, or say I'm a male financial guru. I'm like, hey, man, I was struggling with my credit for a long time. And so I want to share with you, some of the top 4 things that have helped me improve my credit, because I know for me, I couldn't even get a car loan. I couldn't do this. And I couldn't even get a cell phone down at T-Mobile. And so I want to tell you how I made my change. So that's a completely different, conversation and intro to someone. And I'm like, so here's your credit. It's made up of 4 different things. And so a lot of people just don't understand, because they're not taught this in school. So let me break it down to you how, someone taught me. So, your credit is made up of, your credit utilization. So that can be made up of literally like 35% of your credit score. So a lot of people, they think, hey, I'm just paying my bill on time, I'm okay. But no, your credit score is low, because if your credit limit, let's say you have a $1,000 credit limit and you're spending $998 of it, that's telling creditors now that you're high risk, because you're reaching it near the limit. And if you keep your credit below 30% of utilization, they're saying, hey, this is actually someone who's not too risky. They're not stretching it to the mean. And so a lot of people just don't know that. And then, hey, here's another thing. So like I said, payment history. Like if you pay your credit on time, that's like 30% of your credit. And so once you do that, and they're like, wow, man's putting me on game, hasn't asked me for anything. And then so I'll go into things, no matter what type, maybe it's my Facebook ad when I'm selling my course, I'll teach them something. And then even if they don't buy nothing from me, I just want them to have a good experience, remember me. And then, if they are looking for something in that space, I say, hey, now I'd like to invite you for a free web class where I'll take them through some more training, and then I'll offer them something that I'm offering. Or it might be to a sales page, but I always lead with value versus, because like, it's kind of like you're trying to take a girl on a date and you're just like, yo, babe, you meet them, you're like, yo, come home with me. Like, my crib real nice. They're like, oh, you nasty. Like, and so it's like, you got to, hey, let me take you to dinner. Like, there's a process to it. And so that's one of the things that I lead.
And that's just another fire tip right there. And it's crazy because I'm like, and even when you just said it on the credit, you're educating them. So they're already like, wow, I actually didn't know that. You're not saying go do X, Y, Z. So you're inspiring and you're educating them, which is going to always win. Yeah. Yeah, so man, Jubril, this has been fire. I'm gonna hit you with one more question. I know you create some dynamic partnerships, and there's a lot of people out here who aren't skilled in certain areas, and they're like, yo, I need a partner in this. I need a partner in this. How do you find your partners, or not even what is your suggestion for someone who like, man, I just need a partner where I am in my business. I'm good at this. I know they're good at that. I want to kind of make it successful, right? So what is the way that you would suggest for someone to find them that dream partner, I would say?
Oh, man, excellent question. And so for me, I say you also, depending on who the partner is, and also, the level that they at, that's going to be a big thing. So especially if you don't have any credibility in that space. So a lot of times I tell people, get to work, improve your work in that space, put your own money on the line, start to actually do some of these things. And then, you can start to reach out from, a level I, kind of playing field. And so, and that's also when you want to get, if you don't have the financial means to be mentored, you want to be mentored by someone or something, or you want to go into different circles. This is like a tip that I have. Think about how you can, so maybe you're a filmmaker, right? And you're like, hey, I want to be a filmmaker in this space. So you reach out to these influential people and say, hey, I would just love, if they have some footage online, go edit something up and be like, boom, here's something that I did for you. It's going to be hard for them not to take notice of, because most people won't do that. They're like, nah, I'm not getting paid for that. I'm not doing that. Or, you go, they having something, say, hey, can I come just do some work for free? And I want to just demonstrate to you what I can do. I don't need anything off the bat. I just want to demonstrate my value. And so that's a way that you can get into circles very quickly. And then literally getting inside these, these big circles, one connection can change your whole world. And I kind of, I'll talk about my team, right? So you've even met, you've met one of my favorite trolls, JP, right? Now,
yeah, JP crazy. JP crazy.
So for people who don't know, JP is one of my filmmakers. And so he first connected with me in 2000. I put an advertisement out looking for a filmmaker. And that was in 2016. And then so he's like, he had a goal. He's like, I want to make $50,000 in a year. But first, we did one video, and then it was a dope video. It's actually one of Tiffany's videos. Paid $1,000 for it, and because he has some work in the space already, and so we saw some of the quality. So you want to be able to demonstrate. If you didn't have no work, I'd have been like, nah, I didn't say nothing you done. But I was like, okay, cool. We paid you $1,000 for that. And at the time, he was literally just like, the reason I accepted, he's like, I just want some money for some J's, living at home with his mom, doing his thing. And then he's like, as time was going on, I took him on the road with me. And then so he came to live with me, travel around the world with me. And then, his goal was $50,000. I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna pay you, I paid him 36. And then what happened was, I was like, I must help you find freelance clients so you could, on your free time, you can start making money and learning this game. Fast forward to, a year later, 2 years later now, 2018, because he went to some of the financial conferences and everything that I go to. He just signed a contract, a year-long contract with one of the people I knew in the financial space for $300,000 annually.
Crazy.
Right? And so that's like, and that just goes to show like where you start in life is not where you have to end up, and especially if you have value in what it is, and you learn negotiation skills and all. He picked up so much just being around us, just being around the circles. And so that's what I tell people, man. You get into some circles, don't F them up. Put in that work, demonstrate what you know, and you never know where your work and your circles can take you.
Facts. And I always say, Jubril, one of my favorite things is, man, don't allow your current situation be your final destination. Like, so many people focus on, but I don't have the money now. I don't have this now. I don't have that now. It don't matter what you currently have. It's where you're going to go. Like, so many dreams, I need you guys, if you're listening, dreams don't cost you anything to think a certain way. Like, it takes the same amount of effort to think big as it does to think small. You saying you're going to travel the world, you saying you're going to make millions a year, it's the only thing that is stopping someone from achieving that is time and work. So I'm just challenging more people to really just, live on your own terms and bet on you sometimes, because I don't believe Jubril or myself would be doing the things we're doing, living life on our terms, if we had never betted on ourselves and actually just worked hard every single day. And like you said, Jubril, getting in those right circles that's one of the things that's changing my life and improving the quality of my life daily, because I'm getting around better people and I'm being around people who are better than me. My thing, Jubril, I want to be the dumbest person in the room, every room I go into. Guess what? I'm going to leave out learning more than I know, improving myself and just growing. So we're coming to a close, Jubril. If you want to share any last piece of advice, any last words of wisdom that you just want to share, you're more than welcome to do so.
Man, I just want to say thank you for the opportunity, man.
Thank you, bro.
I don't do many podcasts, but when I do them now, I'm like, man, I realize how much I love sharing, man. It's really a gift. So thank you for giving me a platform. And I just kind of want to echo what you said. When you don't take that shot, you don't have an opportunity to make it. And that applies to
fire
in life. Like you said, you might have, your wife, you might miss that opportunity because you're not willing. That fear of rejection is crippling. And so for me, one of the biggest things I attributed my success to is not having a fear of rejection anymore. The fear of rejection before had me saying, man, I'm not going to talk to that, I'm not going to talk to that woman over there. I'm not going to talk to that girl, because I had these ideas built up in my head. And then
false beliefs,
and then it's like, I'm like, oh, snap. She actually giving me the energy I want. Okay, I'm feeling myself. Like, And I used to, it could be business. I used to be like, oh my God, that's that person. Like, I used to really have so many limiting beliefs in myself. It was paralyzing to, my success. And I know you've probably heard the quote, everything that you want is on the other side of fear. And it was so true, and it's still true for my life. There's still some things, I'm not perfect. Like, well, I have to reach out. I have to grow. I have to stretch myself to be able to do that. But that's one of the biggest things I attribute to my success is not having the fear of rejection. Like I said, even like that Mario email, the most successful real estate agent in Chicago. We ain't talking about the freak, like y'all go Google him. Like, we're talking about most successful real estate agent in Chicago. Like, I don't know if you can see my city, bro. Like, these are big buildings. These are $1 billion buildings. Like, we ain't talking about a little city. We're talking about Chicago, number one. And he reached back to this little kid in Chicago, like, not knowing him. And so I'm telling you, if I can just leave you with something, don't let fear hold you back from where you deserve to be,
Fire, man. Guys, and that's we gonna basically wrapping on that. That was fire. Jubril, please share how people could join, add value, Live Richer Academy. We'll also plug it in the show notes, but just anything you got going on, how can people support you other than they better go on YouTube, type in Passport Heavy and watch all them travel videos, but just share with us how people can support you, brother.
For me, man, I never like dropping really links. I just say, come follow me as a person. So if you want to learn about financial education, look up Tiffany the Budgetnista and just follow her as an individual. Like, the reason I love Tiffany and one of the criteria I have to working with people is that, you put people over profits and you actually care about people. And she is one of those individuals that truly cares about people. And so follow her on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Tiffany the Budgetnista. I got my other partner. He's like in Facebook as John Pemberthy. Same thing on Facebook, Instagram. And if you want to connect with me, I'm on Instagram. So you spell my name. I don't know if it's on here, but J-U-B. Actually, it is here. And then so if you can't figure that out, I ain't even going to tell you how to find me. But yeah, just search my name in Facebook and Instagram. You'll find me. So.
Brother, thank you so much for tuning in. Guys, this wraps up another episode of Accelerate the Great. This has been one of my favorites by far. Listen to me. I want to say this. If you literally dissect some of the things that Jubril said, he just handed you a college course, right? Literally, you can go apply these things to help literally level up your life. I don't care where you are. You could be making 6 figures, 7 figures, or 8 figures. You can dissect some of the things he said, infuse that in your life and blow up your business, or even just get your business started. So guys, thank you once again for tuning in to an episode of Accelerate the Great. You guys go be great. Go chase down your goals and dreams. Remember, the only person that's stopping you from achieving your wildest goals and dreams is yourself. Be great, guys. Talk to you soon.